So I was on just like Indian like queer Tinder, so only looking at girls' profiles. And a lot of the girls were men.
Are you even serious on
No,
this?
seriously, you'd be talking to a girl.
This is like a bubble breaker. You know, I'm like, oh my God. People, everyone listening to this, and if you ever thought that, oh, she is a girl, hot chick out there. No, no boy. That's a boy.
Yeah,
It's an
it's a girl,
AI-generated boy.
It's a girl who's just like, hey, I would love to see a picture of your boobs. And you're like, that doesn't sound like a girl somehow, you know?
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
That's definitely a man. Wow. Which man did this?
You are entering the overthink tank.
Hey guys, welcome to the Overthink Tank. This is another spicy episode of the tank, and today joining me are two really cool people. And both of them bring two very different perspectives to the table, and I'm really excited for you to meet them. Let's bring on the number one relationship coach on Instagram right now, telling you about how to be careful of those red flags. Ekta Dixit.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Surbhi, for having me.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to literally have a great chat today.
And you already do so much for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joining Ekta is writer and a journalist Michaela Stone, and she's been in India for 5 years now, dealing with the dating scene in India. So let's bring on Michaela Stone.
Sorry, my name is Michaela Stone Cross, actually.
Oh, okay. I'll say this. Stone Cross.
Yeah.
Stone Cross is not optional. I have to say the whole thing.
You can say Michaela Cross, but that's,
Okay.
yeah.
I can miss the stone.
Yes, you can miss the stone. It's very missable.
I'm just feeling too hot right now.
It is fucking hot.
No, it's because of you. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. No, I thought about the
Because of
general
two
temperature.
hot, no, because of two hot ladies sitting right next to me.
I'm actually here for the AC because my cooler committed suicide 2 days ago.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
I'm feeling, condolences.
Okay, guys, this is a podcast where I overthink other people's problems so they don't have to. And I employ my friends' brains to do the same. So today, you guys have to basically overthink this listener's question for them. Because they're just done. They're just done overthinking this. Now it's our turn. Do you want to hear the question?
I would love to.
All right, let's go. Anusha writes, Dear Overthink Tank, I'm a 29-year-old heterosexual woman who values companionship, but lately I've noticed my attitude towards dating and men in general becoming more and more cynical. What used to be fun now feels like a disappointing and time-consuming chore. Despite this, I'm growing tired of being single while all my friends are happily coupled up. With my demanding job, time is a luxury, and all I want is to cuddle up in the evenings with someone kind, funny, and empathetic and genuinely interested in me. Do you have any tips to help me rediscover the joy of dating? That's a heavy one.
Yeah, would you like to go first?
No, please. The good advice first, the bad advice second.
Well, let me just kick things off by
Yeah.
saying that dating has become kind of impossible now, isn't it? I mean, from my own experience, I sometimes feel like even before I text someone or without ever meeting someone in real life, I know so much about them just because of their social media presence.
Yeah.
And there's just too much information online available. So I feel like I can never really date anyone because I know way too much about them. And that's coming in the way of me pursuing my
It
relationship.
kills your curiosity to know a person. But I think I beg to differ somewhere. Even if you know everything about a person, and no matter how much you try to wear the investigation hat,
Yeah.
or no matter how hard you try to be the Sherlock Holmes, you still feel that when you meet a person, you can still discover so much about that person, because what you see on social media is just like a tiny part, is the tip of the iceberg. But when you know a person, literally, like in person,
Yeah.
you can try and kind of connect with that person and know what exactly is going on. something that the other person does not share on social media. Because let's be honest, what people share on social media is just like the good parts, the highlights of life,
Sure. Yeah.
and not the real trouble or the shit that
And
the
it's-
person experienced.
Mm.
I think it's really hot when a guy hasn't posted something in 3 years. I think it's really hot.
What if he's in jail?
Oh, then that's a problem.
Oh my god, I'm like literally overthinking about this right now. Like really,
he's
I
in
mean, we can
jail.
think of all the possible reasons. Or what if maybe he just had he committed some crime and then now he's just trying to kind of hide.
Maybe he has a pseudonym and he goes by Michaela Stone Cross now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Michaela, tell me about you. What do you think about this question? This person is a 29-year-old and, she's frustrated with dating. Have you ever felt like this?
Ever felt frustrated with dating?
Yeah.
Anyone would kill me if I said no. Yeah, I mean, like Anusha, it seems like she's 29, right? Like that's how you feel when you're 29, right? You start looking back at your dating life and all these things that felt magical and wonderful. Suddenly you're like, but maybe that was just a waste of time. Maybe I should have done what my responsible friends did and found someone really reliable early on, and then I wouldn't be suffering right now. But yeah.
But I also feel that what happens with specifically this person,
Mm.
I have a feeling that what happens when let's say you're 29, by the time you age, you become so strong with your belief systems or maybe your approach or the way that you operate your life that now you're not willing to kind of adjust.
I get that because I have one single parlor lady now, but as a young woman, I had multiple parlor ladies. So now I know exactly who knows my eyebrows and who will do the right threading.
Yeah.
That's the
I
same
think,
thing.
but yeah, that's a different context. But I think when it comes to relationship, you know what are your non-negotiables.
Mm.
And because you don't want to compromise on those non-negotiables, and I don't think even when you're 21, 22, you should know your non-negotiables. That's my point. And that's something that I keep talking about. You should know. But also there are things that can be flexible.
Mm.
I think by the age 29, 30, you're like, listen, I don't want to mold myself as per you. These are the things I want to sign up for. If you're okay, if you're willing to kind of sign up for this, you're good to go. If no, then no. So a no is a no. That's what happens. When you're young, your no turns out to be, let's just try and take a look and just go with the flow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, when I was young, my no meant I love you. And it did actually mean that. I'm not even kidding. There was a time in my life when I was recently broken up. This was back when I was, I think, in college. And my friend from college was trying to hook me up with her brother, her cousin brother. And I was like, you know what? Sounds like a good pastime. I have a lot of time. I'm young, okay? And I just need male attention. So I'm texting this guy. It's been 2 days, literally 2 days. And he says, I love you. And I'm like, no, I don't love you. But what I text him back is, I love you too. So I think,
Really?
yeah.
That's only because you want to feel validated by the person. It's because, okay, the point is, if I don't text back saying I love you, there are chances he might just start ghosting me.
No.
Or he might just...
Even worse, he might just be mad. And I think that was my main concern because I was like, I don't want to upset this boy. Because oh my God, there was the whole thing. The next day I found out when I called him to tell him that I don't actually love him, I found that he was throwing a party to his friends. That makes me pretty sad.
Now, are you like kind of feeling a bit cringe about it?
Yeah, I mean, now I feel cringy, but back then I was like, I'm done for. Like, no man is ever going to say I love you to me in 2 days again. And yeah, that's never happened again.
Wait, what's with the 2-day love people? Is this a specific personality type? Or do you think this was a cynical person who was like, if I say I love you, women are so desperate to hear this?
I think it's more to do with you not approving and appreciating yourself, so that even when someone comes and gives you that little validation or little love, you kind of settle for that crumb. Let's suppose you have other friends also. I'm sure you must be having, and during those days, you must have had set of friends who were around male friends and whatnot. And because you did not have much exposure, you were always curious and inquisitive about, okay, let me just see what is it like on the other side of the table to get that attention from guys. So either you can become that or you can completely become a recluse. Where you're like, listen, it's so uncomfortable to get a little bit of attention from the other gender. But again, a lot of things depends upon what your conditioning has been.
I also went to an all-girls school. So I saw both extremes where I feel like the most boy crazy girls I've ever met in my life were at that school. And then also like the nuns. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
See how you can go to either extremes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no in between for some reason. I don't know. It's because you always want to be safe, like on either of the parameters.
Yeah. And I've definitely seen girls leave the all-girls school environment and they're just like living nun life and watching K-dramas. Like seriously, like learning Korean, watching K-dramas. And they're like, this is my new boyfriend, you know?
The dating advice that men get is very different from the advice that women get. Right? Like men are just being told like, oh, okay, 5 things to impress her without being creepy.
Yeah.
Right? 10 things to do to make her fall in love with you.
Yeah.
Like it's very like get that woman, win that ass, just get that.
Win that ass. I want that on a t-shirt.
It's very aggressive. It's very like go get him. Right? And for women, I feel like it's pretty much like 5 texts that you can send to this guy to make him reply instantly. Like you're just like.
So do you see the discrepancy between both?
Yeah, I'm confused because I'm like, all of this is generally bad advice. I'm not going to say that this is great. But why are we giving such bad advice to women and men both?
But if you notice, that's what I was just talking about. When you talk about these discrepancies, particularly women are mostly asked to get an emotional attention. Whereas for men, they've always been directed to how can I just kind of get her close?
Like more physical.
More physical because men are territorial in nature. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Men are
piss
territorial.
everywhere I go.
Men are territorial in nature. And when he feels that, oh, now that I have her, he feels that he kind of has some kind of an agency or autonomy over her. That gives him a sense of ego, power, control, because men hate ceding control. They hate to cede control. And that kind of makes them feel that what can I do to kind of get her attention, to get that ass.
There's this thing called the honeymoon phase that everyone talks about.
Of course.
I'm confused about how long does it actually last? Like, is there a time limit to it?
3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
But it's very subjective. Very subjective. I know people who had honeymoon period for like about 2 years. Wow. And then suddenly they're like, listen, I'm just taking off my rose-tinted glasses. Let me just see through. See through you. Like, see through your character.
Do you think that people like throw off their rose-tinted glasses the minute they turn like 30? Because I feel like that happened to me.
No, someone comes and smashes your glasses, actually, and you're like, give them back.
Now you need a LASIK operation.
I don't know if this is a foreigner-specific phenomenon, but I've talked to plenty of people who experience the I love you guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the like instant I love you, and they're like, what is happening? I don't even understand. And I'm like, I'm very confused by this. And just a lot of like seeing drama as intimacy, I've noticed.
Romanticizing toxicity and drama.
Yeah. Like I feel like I've had experiences.
It's crazy.
It's the guys who say I don't like drama.
It's like it's guys, it's girls. It's like I've experienced things where I've like gone out with someone casually, and then I feel like there's like a test moment where they're like, let me throw something crazy at them. And then I'm like, that's insane. I'm just not gonna talk to you anymore. And I feel like they wanted to engage in some kind of crazy fight that brought us together. Like, I feel like it was some Bollywood movie formula that got in their brain. I don't know.
You know what happens in that case? it's because of the drama, because the person has actually did thrive on drama earlier, maybe because of the conditioning, family environment, whatever. If you've seen that this is how things have been, when there's been drama, I've seen my parents being more closer after the drama. So it kind of sticks back. You kind of form a
Correct.
belief system that, fights get you more closer to your partner.
Okay, but this is such an Indian thing to do, right? Like,
No, it's not Indian.
Is it not?
I think conditioning is everywhere. I think it's not at all restricted or subjective to caste, culture, creed, whatever, or nationality or country for that matter. No. It's so much that whatever I see in my surrounding, my environment, my family, if I thrive on drama, and I've seen my parents, like, they've become more close and more mushy and more loving, and they had like a great time. And after the drama, maybe we've just been out, had like a great time. We went out for a holiday or whatever. I'm like, oh damn, drama makes things all the more spicy. It's a conditioning.
This is just, I'm learning so many things. And
And this is why we need to get off the drama. Yeah, and with this girl, why she wants to couple up and yet she's finding it so difficult. That K-pop, the K-drama thing also. When you mentioned about how a lot of women, they watch these K-dramas and they're like, listen, when I can literally watch this guy and I feel so good about it. But if you notice what goes behind the whole mental screen in the background, you're feeling sad for your life because you don't have that person.
Oh, damn.
It's like, I am watching this guy, but somewhere I'm feeling sad for me.
But that's just my constant state, so I'm not really wavering.
Because today we're romanticizing sadness and loneliness.
I mean, you're right. I see a bunch of memes, and you know how Instagram and TikTok works. Whatever you're feeling, whatever your state of mind is, it's going to regurgitate the same sort of emotion towards you.
Yeah.
And I see that when I'm in my hoe phase, it's telling me to go out and hoe it out. But when I'm like, I hate
your hoe algorithm.
Yeah. And when you're like in the sad phase, you're gonna like that piece of content that's gonna somewhere validate your feelings right now that, who are you? You don't have a guy. And then you will start liking all those quotes and those couple pictures that, oh my God, that I don't have this. That's the point.
Oh, that's so sad. Your algorithm should never show you couple photos if you're single. It should kill all of them.
Couples should not be allowed on Instagram. Here's a unpopular opinion. Stay out of my feed.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, it's like somewhere we're so... Actually, the point is we're so sadists. We like sadness for some reason. Especially
summertime sadness.
No, exactly. And listen, it's like, think about your breakup that you had. You would listen to that Arijit Singh songs and sad songs.
Yeah.
And you're going to make yourself feel all the more miserable.
That is true.
I'm going through so much right now.
But you need that, I think, for the beginning few days.
But people get stuck in that phase for their entire life. Potentially.
Okay, stop calling me out on my own podcast.
No, not you. Obviously other people.
Okay, let's come to the dating apps. I mean, I know everyone's using Instagram as a dating app these days, but the actual dating apps, your Hinge, your Bumble, and your Tinder. Have you used any of them, Ekta?
No.
Okay.
I'm a pre-Tinder phase, so I have no idea about it, but I know what's happening right there, about what's happening on the apps.
So I was on just Indian queer Tinder, so only looking at girls' profiles. And a lot of the girls were men. Are
you even serious on this?
Seriously, you'd be talking to a girl.
This is like a bubble breaker. I'm like, oh my God, people. Everyone listening to this, and if you ever thought that, she is a girl, hot chick out there. No, no boy. That's a boy.
Yeah. It's an AI-generated boy.
It's a girl who's just like, hey, I would love to see a picture of your boobs. And you're like, that doesn't sound like a girl somehow,
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
That's definitely a man.
And lots of straight couples trying to catfish women, gay women.
Yeah.
So like girls will be like, "Hey, my boyfriend, like
That's the most annoying
He
thing.
like how explicit can you be on this podcast? He does something disgusting really well.
Yeah,
Would you
that's
like
good.
to join us?" And you're like,
Yeah, let's keep it safe for my mom. She's listening in the control room.
"Okay."
Yeah.
So yes, that's
But
what they
catfishing is
say.
actually, catfishing does take place a lot more on dating apps because you don't know what's happening on the other side.
Totally.
Yeah.
There's this new thing. It's called kitten fishing.
Yeah.
It's like a smaller version of catfishing.
Fishing.
But what you're doing is you're not totally catfishing them. Like they are your pictures, but they're old. And like you're
Okay, so just like the height is
Yeah, yeah.
wrong and this kind
yeah,
of shit.
and
No,
also
so it's
you
like more
face
to do
tune
with-
your face like with AI.
Yeah.
Face tuning, but also you put up pictures of your best phase.
Huh.
Like when you
Oh my
think that you were
God.
more ripped, more classy, more
Yeah, when you had a jawline.
Yeah, like a
Remember
jaw.
that time?
or when you didn't have the punch.
Oh,
or
wow.
when I think you were more ripped and what. And I think this a lot of it has to do with guys.
I get it though. Like
A lot of it has to do with guys.
What, like, girls
So
aren't doing
men particularly, they post pictures of their ripped self. Whereas when you see them, you're like, bro, like I didn't see this coming.
But
Sorry.
men
there's one ab missing. Ekta's counting all the abs.
but men complain about this with things like makeup. You know, they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, once her makeup comes off, she's a total dog." All of that, shit, right?
What? That's
Yeah.
But see,
Have
a lot
you
of
seen a dog before? Or like,
I love dogs.
I love dogs.
And I love
cute.
women without makeup.
and okay, but the whole makeup thing, I feel like that's just everybody's been telling us if you don't wear kajal, you look sad
Yeah.
and you look like you're going through something.
Oh, even if you don't have a concealer, you're like, oh my god, tell me for how long you haven't slept. For how many
I'm
years you
like,
haven't slept.
I'm
Like,
leading a very good life. It's just I'm out of my concealer.
Yeah.
This whole makeup thing has to go because men need to know this is not how women work. They can't look like a different person with a ton of makeup on, can they? I mean, I have a ton of makeup on. I look the same. I have a pimple right here. I'm not trying to hide it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's going into like men's whole
Yeah.
thing where like women are tricking them,
let's
right?
accept
How
the
long
fact,
can you keep up this trickery for? I mean,
Yeah.
right? Like I have
But
to wake up.
Let's accept the fact that men are visual creatures. That's a fact. But there's a different story to it. That women wear makeup for themselves. Not to kind of hide their flaw, but because they want to kind of amp up their look.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to make up, I've worn it, you want it. We wear it to amp up our look or maybe how I'm going to present myself.
Yeah.
It's not to woo you.
Yeah,
It's for
sure.
myself.
Yeah.
So men don't understand this.
First of all, you can ask any man in this room and they won't even know what mascara is. So
They don't even
stop-
know the difference between a dress and a skirt.
Yeah. Stop
know
having
how.
opinions about makeup. I think just generally you can be like, just shut up.
And men like you a certain way because they're visual creatures. They can't help that they're wired that way. They're wired. They cannot help. They're wired. Now you can't change the wiring. Okay.
Yeah.
Now every man who's going to look at a girl, a pretty looking, gorgeous girl, is like, wow, can I have her? That's a different story. That every man kind of tries to keep this inside him and not literally act upon every thought that he gets.
Well, thank God he doesn't.
Exactly.
I mean,
But with females, that they don't look at a man and say, oh, listen, I want to have him.
yeah.
She's going to be more like, whenever that we get to speak to each other, and I'm going to know this person, how he is, how does he operate, what's his functioning like, what's his belief system like. You start loving the person for his personality.
Correct.
For personality as in like the intimacy part of it, the emotional part of it.
Correct.
For men, they like you even without.
Wow. Which man did this? Which man? Once again, we're back with the most beautiful, coolest gals ever. Ekta and Michaela, I'm going to quickly ask you about some of the common issues that people face when they date, right? And this is something we spoke about earlier. I think a lot of men like women who have daddy issues. And what is the whole scene with daddy issues? Can men also have daddy issues?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Men, of course, can have daddy issues, especially either there's a tough relationship with daddy or the lack thereof.
With daddy.
Yeah.
We can
like
only say daddy for the rest
Yeah.
of
Can we
this.
call it father issues? It's just way more respectful that way.
I prefer daddy.
For
Or
that.
the lack thereof. But then, yeah, of course, they can have daddy issues. And it's just not to do with women, but it's very subjective. How do people really look at daddy issues, especially pertaining to women? What's your perception when it comes to women looking at daddy issues?
I have just heard from a random source that women with daddy issues give great head. And this is just what the men are talking about, right? I don't believe in this.
Are you asking
What
for a
is your
friend?
source?
My source is facebook.com and it's still relevant. But I just feel like there's a lot of misinformation about daddy issues making a girl hotter when it actually doesn't make you hotter.
But isn't daddy issues usually pejorative? Like the stereotype of the daddy issue girl is always like she's crazy, she's over emotional, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's a little exaggerated version. Like she could just be like, breathing. I was like, this girl has daddy issues.
Yeah.
But I think my opinion when it comes to daddy issues, of course, it's either to do with some kind of conflict with authority or the lack thereof. Could be either way. That kind of gets you into daddy issues because you're always chasing that kind of attention, that authority, that power, that control. And it's everything to do with power and control.
I mean, there's a lot of people with daddy issues. There's a lot of people with mommy issues.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
mommy
Come on.
issues.
Mommy issues.
We run into a
represent.
lot, you know.
And I just feel like there is, as a relationship coach, do you feel like a lot of people have these doubts on like how my relationship with my parents is impacting my life right now?
100%. It's just not okay. So if, let's suppose, my mother was someone who didn't pay me due attention, then I'll always try to seek that comfort validation in my adult relationships. That's called mother wounds. And that's what father wounds is all about. Because let's suppose if someone who's had a mother who did not give maternal validation or maternal attention, or you have these mothers who are like, I want my child to be perfect, which also makes the child who turns into an adult become so cynical about his life that he starts doubting himself. You don't realize that mother wounds can actually impart in your life in the form of perfectionism, in the form of constantly seeking validation from women. And every woman that he looks at will be like, I just want validation from her. So I'll do everything that it takes, which means that the person becomes a people pleaser, a women pleaser, to be particular. Either of our, I think, primary caregivers who are unavailable can make us feel seen, heard, acknowledged, and did not give us due attention.
So you chase that in your partner.
You chase that in your adult relationships.
Love that. Lately, I'm realizing that some of the things that they said were right. And like, wake up and make your bed. So I agree with that advice. And I feel like maybe there's some way in approaching our mother wounds where we accept the things that make sense, but we also don't romanticize them. We normalize them. Like, okay, this is my mother projecting this. But the other stuff, I'm like, I see what you want here, but I can't do this. This is not, like, I wish we could like pick and choose our mother wounds.
No, it's like when you can like not pick and choose, but I think you always have a choice to heal your wounds.
Healing.
And I think it begins from being aware that I'm facing something because something that happened, and it was traumatic and jarring for me as a child. But I don't always have to carry that. I don't have to carry it right now in my adulthood.
Yeah.
So once you start acknowledging, you start realizing that I do have a power to
Yeah.
work through things. A lot of times you can overcome mother wounds where you have so much emotional dependency on the mother or any woman in your life. You can get off it by actually owning your autonomy, not letting someone have an agency over you, making your decisions your way,
Yeah.
standing firm for your decisions.
Over my dating life, I would say like late 20s. Yeah, definitely. You just get to a point where you realize that you've seen some patterns and you're like, okay, am I going to repeat this for the rest of my life, or am I going to change, that kind of thing? And you also like, I think you can like renegotiate your relationship with your parents, which helps you view your childhood in a different way, right?
I love that.
You see your parents as flawed people, and you're like, and in most cases when there's not really abusive parents, then you can just say like, okay, I love you, you're a flawed person, you know, we can
You
can
were
fix
doing your
this.
best. Oh, speaking of like understanding new things, there's a fun segment that I like to call Keep or Delete. Here are some dating trends that we've seen in 2024. And the question to you both is, which one of these would you like to keep and which one of these would you like to delete forever? Number 1, ghosting. Ekta.
Of course, delete.
Of course. Okay.
Ghosting, delete, of course. Why do you want to keep ghosting?
Do you think ghosting is negative?
Ghosting, okay, I just recently spoke about this. A lot of people, they don't have choice. They ghost because they're scared to come out and speak about it. They feel that if I tell her, let's suppose if I tell her that I'm not willing to commit right now, she might just start ghosting me. And I might just lose her, sorry. I might lose her as a friend or as whatever. So because I don't have the audacity or I don't have the power, I don't have that thing in me to just go out and tell her, let me just run away. Because the only thing that you've learned
It's very
is
escapist.
just escaping.
All right. Michaela says keep.
I say keep.
Why do you want to keep ghosting?
Okay, my big thing is like for hundreds of years, if you didn't like someone anymore, you just stopped talking to them. It wasn't considered ghosting because you didn't have texting.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't want to talk to people, and it's not even a big deal. Like you don't want to have to like have a therapy conversation about it, in my opinion. But if you've been dating them, you shouldn't ghost someone.
The next one is breadcrumbing, where for our listeners, if they don't know, breadcrumbing is when you lead someone on by just like dropping them little crumbs of attention every once a week.
Yeah.
Like one text a week. And then that's breadcrumbing.
100%. Why do you want to keep it? I mean, breadcrumbing, and if you are on the other side of receiving the crumbs or maybe settling for crumbs, it talks about, bro, like you don't love yourself.
Guys, I just like bread. You know, I'm a big fan of bread.
Oh, I love bread.
Literal breadcrumbing.
Yeah. Like we all love breads, but at least not the kind of bread we want to settle in for. Not the crumbs, at least. If we love our breads,
Loaves of bread.
Loaves of bread.
loaves of oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loaves of bread. Like a
Loaves
nice
of sourdough bread. Make it at home.
yeah. Or I
Fresh,
wouldn't mind like a
fresh.
good focaccia, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
Focaccia is someone I would swipe right on a dating app. It just sounds like my kind of bread.
Yeah. But I think breadcrumbing, no. Like it's a thing to be deleted.
Okay.
Don't lead someone on if you don't want to hop on that train.
All right. Number 3, love bombing.
Why everything has to be deleted?
And these are all very toxic.
Bombing happens when the other person realizes, okay, now I'm kind of losing her. Let me just bomb her with some love. That's manipulation. You can't do that.
That is true.
And that's so bad because you don't realize somewhere she's going to stop believing in herself because she's like, listen, I have to settle for this bare minimum. If she has a low self-concept.
Oh my God.
This is just a therapy session.
You're
now.
just, yeah.
We're like, are you okay?
Thank you. I'm not okay.
Surbhi, are you okay? Okay, we're going to chat after this.
100%. But okay, just moving on from love bombing, I just think that...
Are you defending?
I just think that what if love bombing it has a lot of bad reputation out there. But what if it's not love bombing that's wrong? It's that the person is just slowly falling out of love with you, and then they stop giving you any attention, and then you're like, wait, okay, so in the first 2 months he was love bombing me.
But two people who come together, they never come from same mindset or same concept or same pace of love. Two people will always have different paces.
Got it.
If one person is kind of operating on 1x, the other might be operating on 2x. And on 2x, they're like, okay, bombing because I love you so much.
Yeah.
And then the other person's like, listen, I'm not feeling that because I just removed my rose tinted glasses. And now I'm like, I don't feel the same way. The person's going to actually start playing on back foot. And then you're like, listen, but what happened? You don't love me anymore.
Correct. That happens.
And then what happens? Because when you start questioning yourself, you're like, listen, he doesn't give me that much love. Let me just back off. Then you also go on back foot. Okay? And when he realizes that he's losing out on you, he's going to bomb. What happens in the entire process? You are the one who's been love bombed.
Yeah.
Will start questioning that maybe I think I deserve this much only.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4. LinkedIn stalking someone before meeting. Special request. Keep. Both of them say keep.
I mean, my friend, you're just confirming someone's identity, right?
You're right.
Like, my friend will just look at someone and be like, oh, this person is secretly married. You know, there's some...
Because you cannot. I don't think you can do catfishing on at least LinkedIn. You can on Tinder and other apps.
But you can see if there's discrepancies in their story.
Yeah,
like, if they're not the age that they say they
100%.
are. You know, if they didn't
You're
actually
right.
go to the fancy school that they're saying they went to, you know?
Yeah.
And the lie shows you something about the
Very
person.
right. Very right.
Did they go to UCLA or did they go to LPU?
Yes.
Lovely professional university.
University. I know.
Oh, wow.
Reason because I've done work for them.
I'm sorry, I was actually shitting on that.
Sponsorship gone.
No, of course not.
Number 5, bench warming.
Oh my
Wait, what's
God,
bench
I
warming?
hate it. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Or you wanna?
I can tell you. Bench warming is when you're keeping someone on the side.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Also,
Right.
I'll give you
Yeah.
a best analogy about this, which I love sharing this analogy about bench warming. So it's like when you go for an interview, you have other candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when you go, there are other candidates who are sitting on the bench, right?
Mm.
And the boss gets to decide whom to keep and whom to kind of throw away,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you're dating someone, you do have potential candidates
Mm.
who are on the sidelines, who are actually being kept on the bench while you're chatting with a couple of other people. They're like 3-4 candidates, whatever you're chatting with, and you're like, let me gauge who's better.
All right, keep or delete.
My God.
Well, until there's commitment, there's no
Yeah.
commitment in my
But I still
opinion.
feel-
You can
no.
be like, yeah, if you have a relationship.
Warm my
obviously not.
bench.
Like, if it means like keeping someone went secret when you're dating someone, then obviously I don't think that's true.
No, bench warming also comes from a space where you're like literally, see again, you have to accept that when you're chatting with someone and you're trying to kind of find if there's a potential future with this person, you're obviously going to chat in that context. There's going to be flirting, there's going to be mushy texts being shared and exchanged. And it's very weird to do that with
3
4
people.
guys.
But you know what? I think it's weird for some people, but for other people, it's not weird at all. As you said, like,
Or maybe it's just a skill that people acquire.
maybe because I personally cannot keep up with just texting one person at a time, right? I'm like, okay, this is a day job in its own. How am I going to bench warm like for 3 other people? So, but some people can really keep up. Like they have like a quick draft full of text messages to send, and start
But
a
I also
conversation.
feel that you can always kind of, what happens when you have like a couple of people, you're like kept potential candidates on the bench. You will never fully give your 100% to know the person.
Yeah.
And that's something that I do not like about today's dating field or dating culture, so to say. But pop culture has anyway romanticized and normalized this whole thing because they feel that it's completely okay to chat with few people together because you want to figure it out. But listen, if you are let's suppose if you match with someone on Tinder or any app, any dating app. I don't want to kind of call out any app. But let's suppose if you match with someone on any dating app, you will chat with this person. And if you think there's something off about this person, at the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I have this person I kind of matched with. So I can always go back to this person. So what happens? Your back door is open. So you never fully commit to understand.
Yeah.
And look, when it comes to relationships, it's all about understanding the person in the end. It's not about, oh, how much fun it is, but how the hell do you manage when there's an adversity? That's
Do you think more men are doing this or more women?
I haven't checked the stats actually.
Well, I guess we have to just make them up.
Or maybe we should go on Google.
23%.
Oh, you know?
No.
I have no idea about the stats. What's the
put the
percentage?
stats right here, guys. This is how YouTube works.
Yeah, you can put it in the comment section saying that what do you think? What's the statistics like? Honestly,
God, engagement.
yeah,
Love that. Okay,
That's what
number
girls do.
6. Long texting before meeting. Number 6 is long texting before you meet someone. You're just like constantly texting them and you haven't even met them. Should we keep that or delete that?
long texting. Like, please just give me.
You're
like,
just like constantly like, good morning, babe. What's up?
before meeting.
Yeah.
No,
No.
it's called vetting process. It's like you should never do the vetting process. It's like the good morning, getting someone emotionally engaged unless you know the person.
Yeah.
So let's say if I've, like, while chatting and this, that, if I've told the person, listen, I love flowers. So when I'm meeting this person is going to do everything that I've mentioned it to him, that this is what I like. But then once there comes a point where he'll stop doing it. And I'm like, listen, you stop loving me. But he's done with the vetting process.
Correct.
That's the point. Should never. So I don't think, unless you've met this person, you've known this person, don't just get into the nitty-gritty of it.
Just why don't you just meet? Just meet. Like if you're having a good conversation, just get a coffee. You know, why do you have to do this good morning
can't you
for
just
3
meet?
months bullshit?
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like a clubbing and like a whatever, like a date. You can always meet for a nice coffee and chat about.
Yeah, and since the pandemic, people are opening up to like Zoom dates, right? If you don't want to like talk endlessly on your phones, just have a Zoom date with them.
Yeah.
It's still more than just texting because I feel like texting, it's also so calculated sometimes.
Because it
Good morning to a
makes
stranger.
you
Yes.
Good morning to a stranger.
also it makes you buy time to respond. So
you have actual friends to respond to, and
yeah.
Once again, UP doesn't disappoint. This is the 3rd time when the light is gone, and now we're just going forward.
And
like
loving
this.
it with the candlelight.
It's so romantic.
Yeah.
Don't romanticize power outages, but
Romanticize your girls.
it's very toxic.
It's very toxic.
Let's go on.
Okay, orbiting. For our listeners, orbiting is when you're just sort of circling around them. Like, you're creepily
Like
following.
physically, like
No.
in Delhi.
Yeah. It's a delete. Just speak up. Just say, don't just kind of, it's it's very stressful. It's like someone's constantly spying on you.
Yeah.
And it also means they're spying on social media.
But what does that look
Liking-
like exactly?
So it's like, let's suppose you are sun.
well, yeah, I know what orbiting
someone
is.
else is-
Astronomically.
No, yeah. And then someone's constantly spying you everywhere, liking every content of yours, this, that, everything.
Oh,
Keeping
see your
track of
stories
yeah.
immediately.
People will literally do that forever. Like I've
Yeah.
had people do that for
Basically
me for like
tracking you.
over 15 years.
Damn.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically tracking every move of yours.
Oh my God. Delete.
Yeah.
Delete orbiting from 2024.
It's just they're wasting their lives.
All right. Okay. Number 8 is soft launch and hard launch. Should we do it? Should we keep? Should we delete? Are we launching our partners?
Explanation.
Okay. Launching soft way is when you just show a hand, in the frame. And you don't show the full body of this person. So that's a soft launch. This is, I'm dating someone. Here's a hand in the frame.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a soft launch, or the back of their head, or like something super like, their shoes.
Yeah.
That's a soft
Basically,
launch.
a lot of people also kind of
Yeah.
put it, let's say if they're traveling somewhere, they just have like a like a
Photo credits to my soft launch.
a soft launch. I think keep for me. Like, I
Keep soft
feel
launch.
keep soft launching or whatever. It's like not keep as in like you can do it and it's completely fine. Depends on how comfortable you are or your partner is to kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people are very much hush or maybe they are very protective about their relationships. So it's your choice. If
Would you do it, Michaela? Would you soft launch?
I believe in secret social media relationships personally, separate. No, I'm so happy to be with my best friend. Bullshit.
I mean, soft launch and hard launch, I feel like for me, I would only hard launch someone now.
Yeah, like
The time has come to hard launch someone. It's
no, I
yeah.
think when you do, I think for me, I didn't mean it that way. I was like, fine, if you feel like doing like a soft launch,
No lights.
you can do and then do the hard launch, whatever feels comfortable to you. So it's fine, I'm saying. There's nothing toxic about it, is what I meant. Nothing toxic about it whatsoever.
One thing that we learned from this podcast is launching soft or hard. It's not toxic.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of this segment. Keep or delete. Thank you so much, Ekta and Michaela, for opening up about your opinions on these. Just as we wrap up, because we have to. It's too dark in Ghaziabad, and these ladies have to go back home safely. Okay,
Did you say that?
yeah. GZB,
See.
Ghaziabad.
No, that's NCR.
NCR. That's what I said. That's what I told these guys when I asked them to come down to my studio. It's like, it's an NCR. Anyway, guys, like before we wrap up, I would like some closing dating advice to Rakhi Sawant from both of you.
To Rakhi Sawant.
Yes, because we want Rakhi Sawant's attention. So
On this?
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, just go for someone who kind of believes in you and just be with someone who's kind of gonna commit to you and know that you're like,
The bomb.
yeah, you're the bomb, or maybe you are like a priceless possession.
Any close dating advice to Rakhi Sawant?
Kind, courageous, honest. Yeah.
Do you know who Rakhi Sawant is?
No, I don't.
Let's keep it that way. And this was a fantastic discussion with Michaela and Ekta. Thank you for joining me on the Overthink Tank. I had so much fun. I'm going to go back home and look at my notes on what I should have rather said because I know I said too much. And thank you for watching another episode of the Overthink Tank. If you like this podcast, don't forget to tell the algorithm about it by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends and family.